There's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
This is V of Violent Idols, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father, and as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a privilege to have V of Violent Idols. Violent Idols have released their debut EP, Idolatry. Plus, they have several singles that are out right now. Fuck You featuring Aaron Nordstrom, vocalist of Gemini Syndrome, who we all know, Unscripted Violence, this is awesome, AEW's world champion, John Moxley's theme song. I'm not going to do his, John, how they do that, that way, because I can't do that. And I don't want to make anybody mad. But anyway, Break On Through, which is a Doors cover. I'm telling you, folks, you need to check this out. And New Religion featuring Kaz. So you definitely want to check all this out. So V, welcome to the show, and how you doing, man?
Good. Thank you, John. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here. And this is actually my first Violent Idols interview. So as far as an actual conversation, so this will be nice. Really,
that's awesome. Well, I'm breaking new grounds every day, folks.
Yep, the Bod Father.
I made them an offer that they couldn't refuse, so there you go. That's awesome. So how's it been working with Tag Publicity so far, V, for you?
They're fantastic. I couldn't say enough good things about Tom and Tracy, and they really help a lot with getting the word out, especially being a new band, and having to reach out. I mean, particularly in this project where we're I don't know if you know, but we're an anonymous band, and V obviously isn't my birth name.
Right.
So trying to launch something anonymously without the public support of everyone in life is a challenge. So a good PR company like Tag really helped connect some dots.
But that's cool to be an anonymous group, because you could be out and people could be talking crap about you or good stuff about you, and you'd be like, yeah, that's me.
It's more fun than you can imagine.
I can imagine, dude. Trust me. Be like, yeah, that dude sucks. He's a piece of crap. Look at him. I don't know about him.
Exactly.
What's impressed or excited you the most about making the EP? Idolatry. There we go. Idolatry.
It was a lot of fun to do because I got to work with a bunch of different guests. There's 5 or so songs on the EP, and 3 of them have special guests, and it was really nice working with those people, collaborating with them, and just kind of getting to expand my own artistry by sharing that experience with them.
Any tracks standing out more to you than any right now on this EP? I know it must change every time you talk about it or every time that you listen to it. I know these are your babies, man, but do you have any that stand out for you personally?
Absolutely. Am I allowed to curse and say the name of my new single?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm especially proud of my new single, Fuck You, featuring Aaron Nordstrom of Gemini Syndrome. And it was just a really cool track, that one of those magical days in the studio that just everything comes together, and there's just an energy and electricity. And we were pretty pumped on that track at the end of that day. And it's been a lot of fun finally being able to share it with people and introduce them to a song that says fuck you 50 times.
But wait a second, though. This is the cool thing about this song, is that this actually came about sitting behind someone in traffic. Is this correct? Am I wrong on that?
It did. No, that's correct. I mean, I think a big part of this project, Violent Idols, so far, I think, has sort of been exploring the you can call it the darker side, or you can call it the just the less celebrated side of anger and frustration and and feelings of the such. And I think no matter who you are, we can all relate to being frustrated and angry in traffic at any number of drivers and such around us. And I think that was sort of like the motivation to be like, well, let's celebrate this anger. Let's turn it into something, essentially positive, taking some anger and some rage and putting it into a song and exploring that with Aaron.
When did you decide that you wanted to work with Aaron on this? Did you have a particular song that you was possibly going to be having to do, and then this just came up? How did all this work out?
Yeah, that's actually kind of it. He had already, we had been introduced and became friends through our producer, and who also worked with them. And at a certain point, we started talking about doing a track. I ended up pitching him a track, and he agreed to do it. And it was actually a totally different track than this song. It was a song that actually didn't end up even getting finished because we ended up doing this track. But it was literally the day he came in, or the day before he came in, when I started getting the idea for the hook and the fuck you part of the chorus, let's say. And by the time he came in, I was just like, I think you need to hear this, and I think this would be great with you on it. And I thought he'd be a great person, which he was, to help me finish writing it. And he loved it. As soon as I sang it to him, he was all about it, and we just went from there.
Was it hard to choose between the current set of songs? Which one would be the first single you wanted to release for the EP, possibly? Or was it pretty simple for you guys?
It's kind of just been an evolution of what we just have ready to go at that moment, and what we think is the right thing to do next. I mean, we actually started, the first song we actually put out was John Moxley's theme song from AEW, Unscripted Violence. So, and that didn't even have words on it. That didn't even have vocals. So it was kind of, this whole project sort of been an evolution from that to build off that and introduce new elements and new aspects. And so far, everyone's surprisingly been very receptive to it all, and especially the wrestling fans and stuff. They've been awesome. So
why go the EP route instead of just waiting and putting out a full length? Was this just something that you want to hurry up and get out to say, okay, look, I'm here?
Yeah, I think we'd put out enough songs that we, that I felt I kind of wanted to people kind of been slowly finding these songs one by one as we put them out, and not everyone's had a chance to even notice the other songs we put out already, if they're just finding Fuck You right now, for example. So it was sort of a way to introduce people to the stuff we've been putting out over the last several months and compile it all onto one collection.
So how did this come about with John Moxley and AEW with his theme entrance, Unscripted Violence? How did this all come about?
Oh, man. Well, that has been such a cool experience because I was already a wrestling fan and am a wrestling fan. And I actually have a mutual friend here in Las Vegas of John Moxley, and it was literally as simple as John had left WWE, and he was hanging out with his friend, Matt Farmer, and is his name. And the friend recommended me. He said, you need to talk to this guy, and I think he could do some cool music for you. So literally a few minutes later, John texted me and said, hey, I'm John Moxley, formerly Dude Ambrose, and I'm looking for some music. And I told him let's hang out and chat and talk about it, and he could show me some things that he was in. And we met up, and he showed me stuff that he liked, and talked about things he didn't like, and all that sort of thing. And we got to work, and I proceeded to, at that point, come up with ideas, and I fed him about 2 or 3 different ideas, kind of similar but different variations on what the theme ultimately was. And one day he finally texted me and said, I just played the one he loved most, which is the one we went with, to Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes loved it and gave it the thumbs up, and he was on TV with it the next week.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. And I think AEW came along at the right time to kind of save wrestling, if that makes sense, because I'm going to say this because I don't want them to come after me, but this is God's honest truth. The other organization just pretty much sucks. They're horrible right now. I've not. Yeah,
I mean, even as a longtime wrestling fan myself, and a fan of WW whatever, it's been disappointing lately. I mean, there's glimmers of good stuff. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of, compared to AEW every week, it's almost hard to watch and hard to get through. Mm-hmm. And Whereas every time I watch AEW, I'm expecting it to be like WWE, where I have to skip through half the matches to get to the good stuff, and I find myself watching every single thing, and it's just so well done. And I'm really happy to be part of within that orbit and kind of part of that family to an extent.
Who's been like your favorite wrestler growing up? We're not getting away from the interview, folks. It's just something that I absolutely love. Because,
it's all good.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, I love everyone from Bret Hart to The Undertaker. I mean, there's just so many fantastic guys from the mid and late '90s, and if I had to go with my favorite good guy, it'd probably be Bret Hart. If I had to go with my favorite bad guy, it'd probably be The Undertaker. But of course, I love everyone in between. I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Ric Flair, The Rock. I mean, there's so many greats.
Yeah, Undertaker, man. How can you? I don't know. People can like who they like, but for me, it was The Undertaker. That whole theme, the whole gimmick, everything, from the entrance music to everything that he did was just that was my dude right there. That was my favorite one.
I don't think you can even like wrestling and not like The Undertaker.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of just encompasses everything that's great about it, and anyone that wants to be great is always trying to figure out how do they be more like The Undertaker.
I've been digging that new documentary series that's been coming on Vice called After Dark, I think, or Dark something, about the documentaries of the wrestlers.
Dark Side of the Ring, or something like that. Yeah. No, it's I've watched a few episodes, and it's fantastic. It's also really, really sad. I mean, I enjoyed every episode because they're so well done, but every time I watch one, I'm kind of bummed out afterwards.
Yeah, the Owen Hart one was really tough to watch. I watched it last night, and I was just like, oh my God.
Me too.
Horrible what happened to him.
Me too. So sad, such a talented guy.
Yeah, and Brett put him over, his own brother. That was awesome. Hardly, I don't think anybody would have done that normally.
Yeah, no, they were a total league of their own, those Hart guys.
Mm-hmm. You also did a cover of Break On Through to the Other Side by The Doors. What led you want to cover this? Did you just want to add your own twist to it?
I'm trying to even think myself where the initial idea for that started, but I think I'm always on the lookout for songs that can translate to or songs that we covered and translate to rock songs that maybe aren't like obviously our style. I mean, it's not the Doors aren't a metal band, but I think the lyrics and the attitude and the message within that song to me still felt very modern and almost more like a hard rock song nowadays. So it was kind of just an experiment. I started working on a riff kind of for it and finding like a vibe, and realized kind of pretty quickly that it could be something fresh and new while still obviously paying tribute to the original song. And it just felt fun right away, to be honest. And I reached out to another friend of mine, Andy James, who played the guitar solo on that song. He's been touring with Five Finger Death Punch lately, and he did this just incredible, ridiculous solo that I could have only imagined, and just brought an extra life to it. And that's why I chose to include it on the EP.
Now, I know you've been doing this for a while now, but writing these new songs, does it challenge or push you to come up with something new and just stay fresh for Violent Idols to get your music out there?
It does. I mean, it's a whole different kind of project. I've never done anything like this that has this much, this element of, let's say, theatrics and character and ideas to explore. It's more like, if I'm using an analogy of making movies, it's more like making horror movies rather than documentaries. So you get to kind of apply a different level of creativity and exploration and get to different messages in more unusual ways than you would doing something, let's say, a little less violent.
Idolatry was produced and mixed by Kane Churko at the Hideout Recording Studio.
Yes.
How was working with him?
Yes.
Did he get something out of you, man, possibly that somebody else may not have gotten on this? Maybe?
Absolutely. We've been working really closely with him on this whole project, and he's been helping us out with this, helping develop it, him and his family over there. And they're Kane's almost in the band at this point. We love working with him so much. It'd be hard to imagine working with anybody else. So he's been great. He's helped us even find some of the guests for this record, like Kaz from Vamps, and just an all around creative guy that knows how to push us.
Who did the photo for the EP cover?
Good question. I'm not sure who did the actual photo, but my wife did the artwork.
Okay.
She's responsible. She's responsible for most of the visuals that you see from us, as far as graphics and websites, and is extraordinarily creative.
Coming into this project, do you see yourself still musically growing and pushing yourself outside your boundaries that you're not comfortable with, possibly?
Yeah, I think that's part of the foundation of this project for me, is almost to see how much I can push myself into new territory and new things. Every song so far is very much an experiment in just what are the boundaries? Are there even boundaries, or is it just all about doing cool stuff? And I think you're not going to do new cool stuff if you don't try stuff differently, and if you don't come at something with a different psyche or with a different goal. So each track so far has very much kind of had a purpose, a message, even if it's as far as the songwriting and the sound goes. Let's say like a song like "Fuck You," I wanted to see, can I make the ultimate "Fuck You" anthem? Can I bring this feeling of road rage to life into a song? And can I do it? Can I not be obnoxious even though I say "fuck you" 50 times? So, and I'm very proud of it. I think we kind of succeeded. I think there's it's been working. And every time I've had doubts about, well, what will people think of this, or what, how are they going to try to swat this away? Nobody has so far. So knock on wood. I think people are digging it.
What do you hope everyone takes away, or message you hope they hear while listening to any of Violent Idol's music in general? What do they hope they get from it, V?
I hope they just think. I hope it just forces them to think, whatever way it is. I mean, I think sometimes people are encouraged to not listen to their frustration and their anger, and to kind of to suppress it, and to turn the other cheek. And I think that, that's okay, and that's good. And we have to do that most of the time. But at the same time, if you're uncomfortable about something, if you're angry about something, anxious about something, I think you need to talk about it. I think you need to feel it and be allowed to feel it. And I think that's a sort of fundamental core of how we approach some of these messages and some of these darker topics.
What can fans expect at a show from Violent Idols? Once this goes out onto the road, what are they going to get when they come to see you live?
Oh, man. I feel like I don't even know what I'm going to expect when we do that. And we've already started experimenting with that. And we haven't yet done a public performance, but we are actively rehearsing. And I know from my point of view, we're not going to bring this to the people until it's something extraordinarily awesome. And it's going to be an experience. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be fun. You're not going to be watching a regular show. It's going to be an event, a unique event. Lights, smoke, fun times.
I forgot to ask this, and I want to step back just for a little bit. Are there any tracks that did not make Idolatry that we could see possibly down the line on another EP, or maybe a full length possibly?
Absolutely. I mean, for a while we weren't sure if we were going to actually lead up to a full length. So there's already almost what you could say an entire second EP worth of material nearly completed. That's queued up and ready to go. Whether we roll that into a second EP or a full length that maybe combines that material with some of the better tracks from this EP, we're not sure yet. Right now we're just kind of going one song at a time, and we'll lead back up to another full-length release. Yeah,
me and V is putting out a Christmas EP later on this year, motherfuckers. So, yeah.
It'd be very interesting to do a Christmas song. Maybe I'll do a version of Silent Night called Violent Night or something like that.
There you go. Rudolph the spike-nosed reindeer. There you go. Since almost everyone is in quarantine and everybody's getting back out there just a little bit now, V, do you think concerts and festivals will have the same impact as before with sales and plus attendance? Or do you think this has hurt it in the long run because, man, there's a lot of things that's going to be changing that's not going to go back to the same as before?
Yeah, I mean, I think things are going to be slow honestly, for a while. That being said, I think once people feel comfortable and most importantly safe again, there's not a single person that doesn't love a live show and wouldn't rather be able to go back to one. So I think when things are able to get full steam again and the people feel comfortable with it, shows will probably be bigger than ever. And until then, it's going to be kind of a slow, uphill, almost month by month, week by week, sort of wait and see thing right now.
Is there a country that stands out or shocks you that Violent Idol's music gets support from, or your music even is played in that area so far that you can tell?
Yeah, I've actually noticed there's a few international countries that listen to our music disproportionately, and Germany is actually one of them, as well as France and the UK. So there seems to be a little kind of pocket growing there that's quite interested in, I think, our brand of industrial hard rock.
I know you had a lot of albums growing up, and I know you had a lot of music to choose from when you were just growing up. But did you have a go-to album or song when you were younger that just let you escape or made you think that things were going to be better?
That's a really good question. I mean, there's so much great music that I grew up with. I think things that I enjoyed the most were things like that. Like, let's say even a Marilyn Manson record or a Rob Zombie record or Nine Inch Nails record, because they seemed like they existed almost in a whole different universe. And it made your mind wonder, what are these people like? What kind of world do they live in where they dress the way they do and look the way they do and say the things the way they do and make this kind of, what to me as a kid seemed like scary, unusual music. And I think that kind of just, it forces you to get transported to a different place, and it makes you reevaluate your own self. What are you interested in, and can you actually, if you met these people, would you get to get along with them and actually want to hang out with them? And who do you have to be cool in the eyes of your peers and your idols?
Yeah, agreed. Folks, you want to get out and pick up Violent Idol's debut EP, Idolatry. It's out right now. You want to pick this up. They have some great music, and you will not be disappointed, trust me. V, how can folks stay in touch with you, buy some merchandise, tour dates, all this good stuff once everything gets back to some normalcy? How can they do that?
Absolutely. You can visit our website, violentidols.com, as well as we are on most social media sites as Violent Idols, which is really cool. That was one of my favorite things about coming up with this band name, is that I was able to get every site and every name just as Violent Idols, and no one had ever used it before and all that. So we're easy to find. Look us up. We love to talk to fans and engage with them. So send us a tweet or share something and tag us, and we'd love to hear from you.
Before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Absolutely. This is V of Violent Idols, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up. You only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Hour podcast. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link plus our YouTube link, all the links that we're associated with, and believe me, we are all over the platforms. So get out and support us. Also, please support the Violent Idols. You will not be disappointed. Pick up their debut EP, Idolatry, which is out right now. And give them a shot, folks. You will not be disappointed. Trust me. V, I wish you nothing but the best of luck. And you have hit the nail on the head with this name of the album, because you really screwed me up for saying it on here. So there you go.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate that. And thank you for having us and helping us spread the word.
That's not a problem. Man, anything you need, don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Excellent. Thank you.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.